Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. In this 16th video, I would like to explain about the 12th skill in the structure and written expression. It says, use adjective clause connectors correctly. Before we come to the main point in the skill, we have to know first what is clause that the skill says about. Pada tema materi skill kali ini, yang menjadi peran utamanya adalah adjective clause connectors. It means that we are going to have at least two clauses that will be combined in one sentence using the connector. Before we talk about more than one clause in a sentence, let's get to know with the clause first. Apakah klausa itu? Many sentences in English have more than one clause. So clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. It means that in one clause contains one subject and one verb. Namun, dalam satu kalimat terkadang berisikan lebih dari satu klausa. Hal tersebut bisa terjadi dikarenakan penggabungan dua kalimat yang saling berkaitan. Contohnya adalah kalimat independent dan dependent. As you can see on the screen, there's a sentence contains of two clauses. The first clause is she bought the cake, and the second one is I like. Whenever you find a sentence with more than one clause, you need to make sure that every subject has a verb and every verb has a subject. Dalam hal ini, kalimat tersebut sudah memenuhi kelas-kelas kata yang dibutuhkan. Seperti di klausa pertama, she adalah subject untuk verb bought, while the cake is the object for the verb. And the second clause has I for the verb like. One thing that we should know when we found two clauses in a sentence, it has to have a connector. So the connector is a word used to connect both of clauses. Dalam kalimat ini, kata penghubung yang digunakan untuk menghubungkan klausa pertama dan kedua adalah that. Clause has some kind of variants. One of them is an adjective clause. Just like the part of speech of adjective clause has the same function. It is describing a noun. Adjective clause is a type of dependent clause that works to describe a noun in a sentence. Karena klausa ini termasuk klausa dependent, berbeda dengan independent, maka klausa jenis ini tidak dapat berdiri sendiri. As it is explained, this clause explains a noun. Then, you will find a noun as a subject or an object in a sentence that is explained by a clause. It is adjective clause. Since the clause is an adjective clause, then the connectors that will be used are the adjective clause connectors. It will be followed by the adjective clause. It functions as an adjective even though it is made up of a group of words instead of just one word. In the case of an adjective clause, all the words work together to modify the noun or pronoun. Kata penghubung yang digunakan untuk menggabungkan klausa adjektif yaitu whom, which, and that. Whom yang digunakan khusus untuk menjelaskan orang, which khusus untuk menjelaskan benda, while that can be used to explain a people and also a thing. In the sentence, you can see it contains of two clauses. The first clause is I like the book. In this clause, we can see that it already has the subject, which is I, and the verb of the subject is liked. Seperti yang sudah dijelaskan sebelumnya, akan ada satu noun yang berdiri sebagai subjek ataupun objek yang dijelaskan oleh adjective clause. The adjective clause is mentioned right after the noun. In the sentence, the second clause that is combined by a connector which and followed by the clause you recommended. You sebagai subjek dan recommended sebagai verb dari you. Maka noun yang terletak sebelum klausa kedua tersebut yang berdiri sebagai objek di klausa pertama, yaitu the book, dijelaskan oleh klausa kedua tersebut. It explains that the book is recommended by you. Selain sebagai objek, subjek dari sebuah sentence juga bisa dijelaskan oleh adjective clause. In the sentence, there is a sentence contains of two clauses too. In this clause, we can see that it already has the subject and the verb too. Seperti yang sudah dijelaskan sebelumnya, satu noun yang berdiri sebagai subjek ataupun objek bisa dijelaskan oleh adjective clause. The adjective clause is mentioned right after the noun. In this sentence, the noun that has the adjective clause right next to it is the book. The second clause is combined by a connector which and followed by the clause you recommended. And it is explaining the word book. You sebagai subjek dan recommended sebagai verb dari you, maka noun yang terletak sebelum klausa kedua, yaitu the book, dijelaskan oleh klausa kedua tersebut. It explains that the book is recommended by you. Now, let's see this exercise. There is an incomplete sentence that is looking for a connector if you see the options. Sebelum mencari tahu jawaban yang tepat, langkah awal yang harus dilakukan adalah mencari tahu apa yang dibutuhkan dari kalimat yang belum lengkap tersebut. To know what is missing in the sentence, it is better to find out what we have already in the incomplete sentence. Tom is the subject of the independent clause, or we can say it is the first clause. Selanjutnya, always adalah adverb dari verb writes, while a letter is the object in this clause. Then there is a blank space that will be filled up by a connector from the options. Since what we are going to find out is only the connector, and the connector depends on the noun that is explained, maka yang perlu diperhatikan adalah noun atau kata benda yang dijelaskan oleh adjective clause tersebut. A noun that is mentioned before the connector is a letter, a thing. It means that the only connector can be used to explain a thing is only that. So the correct answer is C. That. Okay, that's all about how to use adjective clause connectors correctly. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.